So we look forward to the pre-finals, and we have coming up the juniors ready to go out in a moment or two's time. An 11-lap race, 14 laps apiece for the seniors and DD2. Onto the track then for the first pre-final, the first point-scoring race of the day here at Wackersdorf. 6 races to go, and let's take a look at the grid for the juniors. 28 of them made it through automatically. They were joined with 6 others from the back of the grid who made it through from the second chance heat. So on pole position, we've got Kieran Jewis, number 20. Tom Gamble was a race winner yesterday as well. Number 54 starts second on the grid. Row number 2, we got Finn Keneally, number 34, and Zach Falk, 49. Row number 3, it's the winner of the last round in Italy, Dean McDonald and Nicholas Scholl. Dean was quickest in practice and qualifying on Friday. Row 4, Scott Simmons and Jack McCarthy. Row 5, the points leader, Axel Charpentier. He starts 9th. Giannis Slavinsky starts 10th. Row 6, Jonathan Hoggard and Taimur Kermanshashi. Jonathan, one who definitely could come forward. He had one iffy heat yesterday, but otherwise he's gone very quickly. So Jonathan, one to watch coming through, I reckon, from 11th place. Ayrton Simmons in a family-run team up against some of the bigger teams, doing a great job. 13th place on the grid. Jean Nombler is 14th. That's row 7. Row 8, Mark Kimber. He's another one who might come through. He looked very quick on Friday. Casper Koyas is alongside him. Row 9, Ollie Caldwell and Eric Stahl. Row 10, Laurie Lepper and Oscar Palomo Ortiz. Row 11, Ido Cohen. And on his debut, an excellent job so far from Titus Shanghai Schmiedli. He's 22nd on the grid. Row 12, Andreas Essner and Tim Mika-Metz. Row 13, Louis Henkefend and Jakob Betzel. Row 14, Adam Ateki and Lucas Dunner. Row 15, these are the 6 that now came through from the second chance seat. We've got Natil Kantin and Alex Quinn. Row 16, Khalid Said Al-Wahabi and Killian Meyer. Row 17, Simon Sushofsky and Hugo Anderson. So that gives us the 34 drivers, and almost half of the field that started the weekend are now out. These are the top 34 from something like 55 drivers in the juniors. So stick or twist now, Chris, because there are points at stake here, but you also got to bear in mind you need to be in the mix for the bigger points that are available in the finals later on today.
And with this many cars getting ready to head into the first of the hairpins, turn number 3, we've seen that it's a pinch point. We've seen that there is moments happening almost every race. They're coming down the corridor. This looks like a good start. I'm pretty sure that we're going to be okay with that one. And off they go. Is Kieran Jewis going to be able to turn that pole position into the lead? They have the inside line on that right-hand sweep of turn 2, and it looks like the whole of that row have basically carried that through and basically taken the front probably about 5 or 6 positions there.
Exactly right, yeah. Finn Keneally and Dean McDonald went with him, but I think they're going to give this a restart because Thomas Leiner has moved across the other circuit. They've got the message now and slowed down as well. So it wasn't quite right at the start. They weren't quite in position. So Thomas Leiner will tell them now that they're going to be sent round again, but through the marshals and the flag system, they then realised on the run down into turn 3. But you're absolutely right. I mean, they were racing as if it was the start there, and it was the inside line, the odd numbers, 1st, 3rd, 5th, that all went through. So Keneally and McDonald had followed Jewis through, and so Tom Gamble, Zach Falk, people on the outside of the front and second rows now know what to expect, but trying to close the door and get onto that inside line is pretty tough here.
Yeah, absolutely. And noticing that on these warm-up laps that I would hazard a guess that the track temperature has indeed risen, because they're not being as wild as they were in the second chance heat, trying to get the heat into the tyres. They're sat there quite comfortable that it's at a suitable enough temperature. A couple just wiggling a little bit, but nothing too bad. They're bunched up nice and early this time, though, aren't they, Chris?
Indeed. So Kieran Jewis, so far in the championship, his best round was the first one in France, where he finished 3rd in the pre-final. He finished 2nd in the final and had a pretty good weekend in Italy as well. 8th in the pre-final, 5th in the final. It's taken him to 2nd in the standings, but he's looking for his first win of the season. He's here on pole position. He's unbeaten so far this weekend. He's to the left of your picture if you're watching on the live stream. And he's about to get this race underway. The pre-final is go. It's a decent start, though, from the outside of row number 1 from Tom Gamble with a pink helmet. They dive this way and that to try and get position. Finn Keneally and Dean McDonald trying to squeeze up the inside here. And I think that's Keneally, isn't it, that's launched it up the inside. It's one of the AIM Motorsport drivers. We've got 2 tangled up at the back. We've got 2 or 3 that ran wide on the exit to turn number 3. But it's one of the AIM Motorsport teammates, and I think it's Finn Keneally that has nosed through into the lead of the race from 3rd on the grid. So those 2 down at turn 3 untangle themselves and try and get going again. It is indeed Keneally in the lead of the race. Scholl, number 16, and McCarthy, number 8, have gone through into 2nd and 3rd. It changes, though, down at the hairpin at turn 9 because Dean McDonald goes through ahead of Jack McCarthy. And up to third place. Those two were teammates last year. And a change for lead as well on the way to turn number 11. And into the lead from the third row of the grid is Nicholas Scholl. He's gone from 6th to 1st now. Finn Keneally there in second place. Dean McDonald and Jack McCarthy arguing over 3rd and 4th positions. They crossed the line at the end of lap number 1. Coming through behind them in 5th place, it's Axel Charpentier. The points leader's made a good start. 4 places gained. Scott Simmons up next. And then we got Zach Falk, Jonathan Hoggard, Tom Gamble's down to 9th place. Johnny Slavinsky down to 10th. Kian Jewis is down to 13th place, the pole sitter. Utter disaster for the man that has dominated so far this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. There's that was that pinch we were expecting into that hairpin, wasn't it? But it was a lot cleaner, that start. And look at this. Finn Keneally is back into the lead again. And this is backwards and forwards. Nicholas Scholl still within the mix. And Nicholas Scholl has managed to jump up the inside. And in fact, he's taken Dean McDonald with him. And it's that Jack McCarthy that's jumped up to 3rd. And in fact, Jack McCarthy's trying to have a look up. And he's moved up into that 2nd. So in 2 corners, I think it was Dozy-Do, your partners, shuffled a pack. And let's see where they land.
Jack McCarthy in a real battle to hold on to his 4th place as well, with 2 or 3 others like Scott Simmons and Zach Falk just behind him. Over the line they go. Dean McDonald is glued to the rear bumper of Jack McCarthy as they head flat out through turn number 2 down to turn number 3. The line is covered though. McCarthy indeed goes for the lead of the race himself. Dives at the inside of Nicholas Scholl. McDonald follows him through, and the former race leader is down to 3rd place, and then McDonald goes for it into the next hairpin. Great move that from Dean McDonald. He's gone from 3rd to 1st on this lap alone, and he is now the new race leader. Already lost count of how many different leaders we've had. It's at least 4, I think. But McDonald, for the time being, is back at the head of the field. And who has gone through to 2nd place? Axel Charpentier.
Wow, I was just trying to catch the number on that to see which of them the Strawberry Racing carts had got up there. And unbelievably, and Axel Charpentier is going for the lead. Championship leader has jumped up into that 1st position. We knew that this circuit was great for overtaking, but goodness me, this is incredible. And we've still got 8 laps to go after they cross the line. And at the moment, it is championship leader Axel Charpentier who started back in 9th position on this grid, but he's up there. Dean McDonald in 2nd, Jack McCarthy 3rd, Finn Keneally 4th, but already we've got a change. Dean McDonald takes that lead back again, and in fact that compromised Axel Charpentier a little bit on the exit, but I think he's still trying to now go up for 1st, and that was a very late lunge and push Dean McDonald out onto the dirt there, I think.
Yeah, the 3rd place driver, Jack McCarthy's trying to get in on the action as well. This is fabulous stuff from the juniors. It's Charpentier into the lead. McCarthy did gate an advantage there, so he went through to 2nd, McDonald's 3rd, but coming under fire now from Zach Falk, who's gained a place already at the start of this lap. 5th to 4th, because he's got ahead of Finn Keneally. Finn Keneally has dropped back, in fact, so fantastic stuff there from him. Keneally has dropped down to about 8th or 9th place. He's had a terrible run here. At the head of the field, though, we have got the leaders coming through to complete another lap. Charpentier finally gets a little bit of breathing space. And Keneally, where's he going to end up? Down in 10th place, in fact. So he lost another one at the end of the lap. So Keneally right out of it.
And Dean McDonald, sorry, jumping in there. He was making a move yet again. They're loving this turn 3, the first of the hairpins, aren't they? Dean McDonald jumps up into that 2nd position, and not only is he signed, sealed, delivered, he's stretching away from that 3rd position. Oh, we got someone off onto the grass just on this hairpin nearest to us, turn number 5. I can't quite make out who it is, but it is Axel Charpentier from Dean McDonald, and in fact, in the 3rd position, it is Jack McCarthy under pressure from, is that Tom Gamble, I think it is, and no,
88 Titus Shanghai.
Jonathan Hoggard. So Jonathan Hoggard's up there putting pressure on Jack McCarthy, and that's a good start from Hoggard there. Where did he start? Back in 11th. So yeah, you're able to move on through this pack, aren't you?
88 Titus Shanghai Schmiedley was the one that you saw going off at turn number 5. So unfortunate for the young Swiss driver. Through they go then. Charpentier, McDonald and Gamble, the top 3, just a whisker behind them. As you say, Jonathan Hoggard back from the 5th row of the grid. 6th is McCarthy now. 7th is Scholl. 8th is Falk. Slavinsky is 8th. Keneally's back to 9th. Scott Simmons 10th. Kian Jewis is just outside the top 10. The pole sitter in 11th place. They're coming up to one of the back markers who had drama earlier on. That's number 28, Andreas Essner, who's coming up to be lapped as they go down towards turn number 9. He's just going through turn 10 and up towards turn 11, the right-hander. And there are our top 2. And it is Axel Charpentier in first place, but a challenge for 2nd there as Tom Gamble throws one up the inside and gets himself in between the leader and Dean McDonald. So that was a very good move from Tom Gamble. He's gone up to 2nd place. McDonald is there in 3rd, and Jonathan Hoggard is at the back of this quartet in 4th place.
Yeah. Excuse me, and Jack McCarthy really lost out on that lap. Something went awry. He's fallen back down to 9th position there. Oh, and we got a challenge there. Is that at the front as we flick towards the camera there?
It's the second group, isn't it? Battling just on the fringes of the top 6.
Yeah, and that's I think that's where Jack McCarthy is. That's even though he dropped back to 9th, I think it's just within that group. The front four have actually managed to pull away at the moment, and it's still Axel Charpentier from Dean McDonald, and then it's cart number 31. Oh no, is that 31 in third now?
We've got.
It is. Axel Charpentier is back into third now. So we were so busy looking at the pack behind, but Dean McDonald's going for the lead, and he's managed to jump up there ahead of Tom Gamble. So we saw Gamble move up further, and Gamble's trying again. Dean McDonald just closed that door, didn't he, as he went down to turn number 12.
It's every corner it changes almost, isn't it? But it's McDonald back up to the lead of the race. Gamble behind him, Charpentier there in third place. The top three have all taken turns to lead the race at one point. Jonathan Hoggard is the only one of the leaders that hasn't gone through into first place yet. Now he does go through to third place though. Good move at turn 3 for Hoggard. So he's up there in third position. These 4 British drivers in the lead quartet, and running out wide there from the lead group, coming out of turn 5, and a spin, and that was one of our front runners, wasn't it? Now let's have a look at, was it McDonald? Let's have a look. No, McDonald's in the lead, so have a look who's missing from that lead pack. Charpentier has been delayed as well, and he's having to defend on the run down to turn number 9. So here they come. And
it's Hoggard.
It's Jonathan Hoggard, yeah. He's the one that's dropped back from that lead group. So he's down in about 20th place now. McDonald is still there in the lead of the race. Tom Gamble is with him. Charpentier was delayed with that. So there's a bit of a gap now from second back to third. Third is on his own. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. They're all together with 3 laps to go now in the race.
Yeah, and Hoggard fell back to 24th position there, and that's going to be devastating for him. He got pushed out wide onto the grass. And the lead group, they've gone out. Dean McDonald's been pushed at turn 3 onto the grass. He's definitely down into third, and he's desperately trying to hold on to that as they come away from that. The lead 2 are the 2 Strawberry Racing carts. That means it's Tom Gamble, Nicholas Scholl. We wait for them to come back into our sight to see which order, and as Dean McDonald managed to hold on to third position, so it is number 54, so that's Tom Gamble has the lead, and indeed a very defensive Dean McDonald in that third position there, and he's had to fight very hard indeed just to maintain that after coming out of turn 3 being forced onto the grass. This is rough and tumble stuff, isn't it?
Into a yellow flag zone at turn 11 because a car ran off the road there into the barriers, and drivers walked away fine, but yellow flags up at that turn. Into turn 12 they go though. Have you noticed who's popped back up into the top 6? A certain Cian Jewis, the driver that won all 3 heats yesterday, went from 1st to 11th at the start of the race. He's back up though to 5th place here, and there he goes, swinging out with the white nose cone to split the 2 AIM Motorsport drivers. So he gets in between McDonald and Keneally, and now he's going to try. We're going to see a change of lead there as well, just ahead. Nicholas Scholl getting ahead of Tom Gamble. That was at turn 5. So changes all the way through those positions as he held it. Yep, Nicholas Scholl has held it through turn 7, so he's the new leader. Gamble is second, McDonald is third. Oh, wide onto the grass there for Finn Keneally. That costs him a place as Zach Falk drives past him going down towards the next turn. It's wheel to wheel for the lead of the race as well. Gamble swings out wide, tries to get alongside the inside. That line is covered. He swings outside, he goes back to the inside. He's almost alongside Nicholas Scholl as they go through turn 12, and he goes through. We're about to start the last lap of the race. That was a wonderful move from Tom Gamble, side by side through 2 corners. Nicholas Scholl is coming back at him though. They're wheel to wheel. A huge battle for third with McDonald, Jewis and Falk. Keneally having made the mistake. Side by side again for the 2 leaders as they went through the hairpin at turn 3 into 4 and 5. Who are we going to get first? The bright pink helmet of Nicholas Scholl or the slightly orange helmet of Tom Gamble? I think it's still Scholl. 3rd, 4th, 5th, all having a huge scrap here as they come into the chicane. It's Scholl that leads on this final lap, Chris.
It is, and that was quite tough going through that turn 12. There was contact, and we suspect that there's going to be cheeky moves and going through the very popular overtaking position at turn number 9, but it's still just about holding off. Look at the defensive line by cart number 16, Nicholas Scholl, but he's now compromised his exit speed as he goes up over the hill. That was a late move to close that door. Teammates, pah! We don't do teammates, it is Nicholas Scholl desperately trying to hold on as he comes down, weaving from side to just about take the lead from Tom Gamble. Dean McDonald holds on to that 3rd position, and Cian Jewis back up to 4th position.
What a race, what a race. Nicholas Scholl and Tom Gamble, the last 2 laps there, they were wheel to wheel through almost every single corner. Nicholas Scholl with a determined drive. He had that great start to the race, didn't he, up from the 3rd row of the grid. And then he came back through into the lead. Gamble took it away from him a couple of times, but Nicholas Scholl from Austria wins the race. Tom Gamble over the line was 0.073 seconds behind him. 73 thousandths of a second, the difference as they crossed the line. Just a wheel length. Dean McDonald had a few frustrations in that race. He was another of the 4 or 5 drivers that led at one point. But despite everything not quite going for him this weekend, he's still in the mix, isn't he? Third place. A huge cheer for Nicholas Scholl as he is welcomed back into the pits by his fans and friends. There are the results on screen. That was a really good comeback for Cian Jewis as well, wasn't it? To get 4th place after an awful start, which I don't think was entirely of his own volition. So 11th place at one point in the race, but he came back through to finish in 4th position. 5th place was Zach Falk. He was in the mix all the way through as well. Finn Keneally was 6th. It might have been higher, but he just ran wide coming out of the chicane with a couple of laps to go. And that was where Zach Falk passed him down into turn number 9. And then 7th place for Axel Charpentier. Now, here's another one that led the race, wasn't he? From 9th to 7th isn't too bad, but he did lead at one point, so Axel will be a little bit disappointed and maybe losing his championship lead. Now, we'll see that in a minute when we get the update of the points. Jack McCarthy 8th, Scott Simmons 9th. And what about this? With everything that was going on at the front of the field, up into 10th place from nearly the back of the grid was Alex Quinn. 3 rows from the back of the grid. He qualified, 30th position, wasn't he? Because he was second in the second chance heat. So great drive from Alex Quinn. Now 10th place, that matches the 10th place he received in the pre-final in France. So it could still count as one of his scores, this. And he's put himself in a position to go for a podium now, hasn't he? What a story that would be. Right, we can update you immediately with the championship points after that race. So Cian Jewis is the new championship leader, 190 points, 1 more point than Axel Charpentier on 189, and 1 point behind those two is Dean McDonald on 188. So you got the top 3, Cian Jewis, Axel Charpentier and Dean McDonald, with just 2 points between them. Jewis on 190, Charpentier second in the points on 189, McDonald third on 188. Jack McCarthy has gone back up to 4th in the standings on 179, and Alex Quinn is still in 5th place on 175 points. Finn Keneally is 6th, Zach Falk is 7th in the standings, Scott Simmons, Jonathan Hargard 8th and 9th, and then up to 10th place in the championship is Nicholas Scholl after that fine victory in the pre-final.